Well, let's talk about features that I want in my book. So, first of all, I'm thinking about if I need to make an expansion, how would I reflect that? Numenor's Bestiary 3 has a solution. You see, so in Numenor, at least the revised edition, I don't know if they call it second edition or whatever, you have two symbols there. And I chose this book to represent that because each symbol represents a different book that it's referencing. So, if you need to utilize content, you know where to find it. See, it tells you the page number, and it's off to the side in a nice little neat little sidebar. Nice little neat little sidebar. Okay, the next thing. Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Rules end at the end of a page. Right? So you don't have run-on sentences between two pages. They end at the end of a page. See, there's a period. And then once again, you have a little sidebar. And it's got this handy little tracker thing here. That's awesome, okay? I would like these features. Next, you have 30-second mythology. Oh, but that's a garbage book, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then here you have something like this, where you have a little bit here, a little more here, and then some more side content and the main. Okay, you don't need paragraphs upon paragraphs upon paragraphs of information. You need stuff from a glance, bam, it's in your head. That's what that got me. Oh, but that's a card game. What can I learn from that? Bam, iconography. Oh, look, how stuff reads out, broken down in sections. And then how stuff works at a glance. Once again, that at a glance and iconography go hand in hand with creating a system that you want to play because you know where to find content. Oh, what's this? Where was it? Oh, yeah. So off to the side here, you can see these little colored panels, just like on the Pathfinder core rulebook. And then, let's see. Yeah, right here. Okay. So these are the type of Pokemon you will find in this area, and then here's the little symbol for how rare they are. And there's another little thing. I should have bookmarked this earlier. Okay, boom. And then here, if there's a specific game you need to reference, Alpha or Omega for this type. Okay, excellent. And the second book, that is not a role-playing game book. One of my exes actually told me I kind of communicate like a textbook. I kind of like that. Okay, so everything has kind of a divided section, but it's not as good as the other stuff, right? However, flip through here, you have a section, and then a subsection, and a little sidebar with the concept check. Okay, and then you also have the tables that are colored, and I'm I'm not seeing any pages without page reference number. Yeah. Okay. So every page has a page reference number on it. And the great thing about this is, boom, charts. Okay, so when designing a game, for me, pages on, or rules on one page, that is number one. Easy to look up guide, sidebar. That is rule number 2. 3 is iconography. If I can look up the chapter for the second one, and I can see an icon that tells me the type of rule it is, boom, I'm there. I'm zoned in, right? I'm focused. And if I don't have to page flip, bam, even better, right? Now, if I do have to page flip, if I have the icon that tells me which book it's in, and maybe tell me too. Like, that's one thing that doesn't do it. You have to flip back to the front of the book. Oh, I need the Discovery, not the Destiny book for Numenera. Okay, great. So, the color coordination, the defined bordered sections, that way I know which rule I'm referencing. Brilliant, okay? Love it. So there's a bunch of concepts in there that if games had more of, you could get little bits of lore that you need for where you need them. And that's important because it adds that flavor to the world. It's like this Planeswalker right here. There's mechanical rules for her, right? You can tell how much it costs. There's the iconography. You can tell some basic facts about how useful she is. Iconography for the rarity. Yeah, right there. Sorry, and the set, all rolled into one. Like, people complain about games that play like card games, but you can design a game that doesn't work like a card game because of how easy it is to reference content. And after you have the concept down, you know what a fireman looks like compared to a water. And then when you have the 50-50 grind on there, that's what I mean by that. The either or, I call it the 50-50 grind, because it's half and half. Like, it's a more intuitive state. And then by having the side of the book be easy to reference like that, that's cool. But far more useful if like that. But at the same time, you know, you open up and then you have the sideboard, I guess you'd call it. Like, that's brilliant. And then you're like, oh, I need to head down 2 or 3 sections. So I look at the side, and then boom, we're in the Lost Age of Omens. Okay. But once again, this is a thick, heavy book. I love it, but like, I want to be able to run a game that not every possibility is spelled out for everybody, and I find that modern system design spells everything out. I find that old school design isn't as giving with it's not as forthcoming with wanting the players to succeed. I mean, I don't think newer players have the attention span, and well, let's be honest, okay? For OSR, there's a difficulty curve to it, and that requires thinking. And nowadays, that is a difficulty curve. But then you had something like the Tomb of Horrors come out, and Gary really shot D&D in the foot with that. I don't know how it's on the best when XP to level 3 covers that very well. You should not do severely deep dungeons like that. I mean, I can't actually imagine accurately, verbatim, running one of these multi-layer dungeons, and the Tomb of Horrors is the reason for that. The Tomb of Horrors is so convolutedly written and laid out that when you're looking at some of these deep maze crawls, you need quick reference. You need all the rules and information on one sheet. Questing Beast covers a number of dungeons that have the actual rooms like referenceable within the context of what's happening. And I recommend his channel. He's amazing. Dungeon Craft, that guy, phenomenal. I love what he did with Keep on the Borderlands. I actually, I'm breaking down Keep on the Borderlands to use as a test hub for my rule set, and it's not going very swimmingly because of the initial way it was written. Thanks, Gary. Like, Gary was brilliant, right? But he had a way of writing that made you think, wait, what? Or why don't you have the information you need more up front so it's usable? Like, he really likes to hide the creature statistics and stuff within a paragraph. And if I'm reading this out loud, because I didn't have much time to prepare, and I didn't get much sleep, you're telling the players about this bugbear or whatever, you know, and you're just like, well, that was a poorly placed creature, you know, instead of maybe having an iconography of a paw or something to show that this is the creature statistics, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, all right, perfect, you know. So rules on one page, and this goes for dungeon design as well. Like, you want a room to have its page, right, and where it is in reference to the rest of the dungeon, like, if it's worthy, you know. But at least its own section. You need to have lore in the section, that way you can, like, oh, there's this little sidebar with this little bit of lore. If you had it in a sidebar, then, oh, look, I can easily read this out to the players without it distracting from this. And if you color coordinated it, like, oh, this is green, so I read this because it's referencing this room, right? Oh, down here it's purple. Over here it's red, you know, and then far easier to navigate mentally. And then maybe have the paw with like a number on it for like the encounter number. Does that make sense? So you can reference the room and the creature encounter at the same time. So I really hope that helped. That's the sort of design philosophy I would like in a published book. And I value that because making things easier on Game Masters is what it should be about. It's a hard enough job, and people should be grateful that you're doing it. All right, got one out.